What was your school's huge scandal? A girl in my year lied about having a sexual relationship with a teacher, in gross detail might I add. We all knew that she was straight up crazy and was making it up, but the school board obviously had to take it very seriously and the teacher was fired. Worst part was that the teacher's wife was also a teacher at the school, and so, even though she wasn't fired, she pretty much had to leave her job as well. The school board eventually figured out the girl was lying and offered both teachers their positions back, but they both declined. My high school guidance counselor fucked a science teacher's wife and everyone knew about it. They got a divorce. Both teachers still work at the same school to this day, and students will never ever let it go. The story has been handed down from year to year. Someone spray painted blank is a kitty diddler ask on the wall of the school. Everyone saw it when they showed up. The teacher was nowhere to be found that day. The girl was also nowhere to be found. I remember it was a Friday, cause the day was crazy with people talking about it, but it sort of died down on the weekend. Monday we find out the guy killed himself that weekend. Later, talking to the girl, sadly it was very true. Others came forward later. It was a pretty shitty situation. We had 2 teachers arrested for secretly recording kids in separate incidents. Our woodshop teacher had a low-angle camera on the floor pointing up towards the seats, and also would slide an iPad out from under his desk when girls would walk up to it. He let a student borrow his flash drive, who found the evidence. Then our speech teacher was caught hiding a camera underneath the sink in one of the private bathrooms that special education used. The caretaker killed 2 local girls and hid them in the school. He tried using the clay kiln to burn them. He later dumped them a few miles away. Some guy jokingly wrote, "If I won't get a B for this I'm going on a rampage," on his English test. Fast forward 15 minutes, a police response unit of 12 stormed the classroom and fucking arrested the shit out of him, without being brutal, but it still was quite frightening for deterrence reasons I guess. My high school had some fights that for some reason managed to make the local news, and the principal's words about it were broadcasted as well. She was pissed, and talked loudly in a passive-aggressive manner over the announcements the next morning, repeating our school's mission statement over and over, ending the broadcast with record that became a bit of a meme around the school after that, and the school seems to have lightened up about the situation since because the journalism team's shirts have record that written across the back. Someone spread photos of naked female students which forced some of them to drop out. My high school district's superintendent hired a relative who wasn't qualified for the job, increased the salary of administrators every year, used the district's credit card to buy meals, groceries, gas, personal electronics, and gift cards. When the state audit went through they said that the overpay of administrators and the personal spending cost the school district around $1.1 million. Her husband was also an administrator. When she eventually got caught, she just retired and for some reason never faced federal charges. When she retired she had a $260,518 salary. My favorite part is that the state audit discovered that the district's credit card was used to purchase logging equipment the same month the superintendent's husband filed paperwork to open a timber company. Everyone knew there was corruption in the school district, but no audits or investigations happened until someone was threatened by the superintendent's husband on Facebook. The assistant principal died in a car accident. There was a big, somber school assembly in his honor. His wife said a few words, and then his 14-year-old daughter came to the microphone to say a few words. She sort of snapped and unloaded about how he was not a good guy, he was a monster who had been abusing her and her little sisters and using them for kiddie porn for years, and she was glad he was dead. I've never heard a room full of people grow so silent, so fast. The assistant principal was embezzling money. It promptly started a hashtag. A girl died in the pool during an event at the school. The swim teacher was blamed and was prosecuted. The girl who died was at my sister's class, both were 7 at the time. That happened over 10 years ago, but the parents haven't had another child since, she was their only kid. Someone created a fake Facebook profile for our principal. He was commenting realistically on teachers' pages but the context never lined up. "Nice to see you last weekend, Ms. Brown." Then once he had everyone as friends, he started subtly roasting kids. He accessed the account from the computer lab and was never caught. He was my friend's brother. 5 or so guys got caught smoking synthetic weed, the kind that utterly reeks and will fuck you up internally, in the school toilet right next to the biology rooms, where the biology teacher had just got out of being a drug officer in the Met. When asked if they smoked cannabis in the toilets, apparently one of them, he was new to the school and didn't speak much English, said, "No, I only smoked weed." Everyone's favorite teacher was in fact banging that student he always hung out with, who would sit in his lap and would visit him after she graduated. They could not have been any more obvious. I went to a small Christian high school that also had a middle and elementary school on the grounds. The principal of the high school had a child that was in my grade. One day he comes over the intercom and announces that he's stepping down from his position. He then goes on to talk about how he and the female gym coach had been having an emotional affair for the last few months. This announcement goes through every speaker in all 3 schools. I remember everyone in my class looking over at his daughter, who had a complete surprise on her face. From what I gathered, this was the first time she was hearing about all of this. Shortly after, the gym teacher also left her position, but the most interesting part: the gym teacher had no idea this was going on. She was just doing her job and thought she was friends with everyone. The principal read more into their relationship and decided to go to the church with it, and they made this decision. The gym teacher left her job out of shame and had to spend a lot of time explaining to her husband what exactly was going on. There was a male and female high school PE teacher that essentially shared an office. They always got along really well, and kids would always joke that we were dating. We were just dumb kids, so we never really thought anything of it. After a couple years, they both started acting weird around each other, and there were rumors that he left his wife and kids for this PE teacher. This wasn't actually true though. What actually happened was they added on a bedroom to their house and the PE teacher moved in. The kids pretty much just had 2 moms and everyone got along wonderfully. It was strange for about a year, and then it was business as usual. I guess they're going on about 15 years strong. In my senior year, a group of friends, who were goth before goth was really a thing, experienced a tragedy when one of the friends accidentally killed the other. The friend who caused the accident took his life a few weeks later. This touched off a wave of suicides at my school, 5 in total, over the next 3 months. Gym teacher, basketball coach and custodian were caught in the act in the showers. Custodian lost his job, but teacher kept his. Go figure. A very popular guy at my school was arrested for videotaping people using the restroom. He was 18. They were not. A picture of my senior class in a hot tub got out. There were boys and girls in it at the same time. The administration considered expelling us all. Christian schools are nonsense. Well, I don't know if this was a school-wide scandal, and it was years after I graduated, but it's a scandal and a half. I went on holiday with my recently graduated brother. I graduated 6 years before him. He had noticed his friends had posted online that they were in that same city too, so we all met up. With this group of super young-looking dudes, all around 18-19s, there was an older-looking woman I kind of recognized, and I assumed it was an older sister. I spoke to her saying, "Hey, I know you from somewhere," and she says, "Yeah, I teach at the school." It hit me that I'd seen her speech at my other brother's graduation 3 years before that. Then it hit me that she was holding hands and kissing this guy who looked about 15, and she was in her mid-30s, not to mention his ex-teacher, even though they only hung out before he graduated and then they were instantly official. What the actual fuck? Apparently they now live together and she still teaches there. Super weird. Junior high, girls' gym teacher posed for Playboy nude. Everyone saw those pics after one kid's dad recognized her and let his son take the mag to school. She got fired. We had a few actually. The biggest one was a huge fiasco where some news stations across the US thought it would be worth covering. Every year at the first game each school in our district plays against each other in football, the bands trade a food basket of some kind. Well, one game our school gives a predominantly black school in our school district a fruit basket that contained a small watermelon. It by far wasn't the defining feature of the basket and wasn't meant as anything. Just a member of the basket. Well, the band after the game was eating from the basket and a parent saw the watermelon and freaked out, calling our school racist for giving their school a watermelon. She ended up calling a bunch of news channels and they came and reported on it. In the end, all of the kids who gave the basket lost all of their scholarships for college for the next fall, and some even had their offer of admission taken away. All because a mom thought a heartfelt gift was racist. 2 dudes got into a physical fight over a girl. She was lesbian. I recently learned that principal of a school I used to go to got fired. I was kinda glad because he was a dickhead. The reason he got fired? After communism was abolished in Poland, apparently if you wanted to have administrative job you had to sign a document that said you didn't work with communists. Recently it came to light that he in fact did work with communists. Someone started a My School Gossip Girl page and just started fucking roasting people. Really sticking it to them with some properly nasty stuff. It was great for me, as I love drama and am a totally immaculate person, or just so unimportant I was skipped completely. They never found out who ran it, but I can say that it was vicious, and split the school into factions. War as heck and all that. Had 2 students fuck in the library. Large protest caused the school to have to be shut down. One teacher was a pedophile and violated multiple kids. A toilet exploded gas and caused a dozen kids to get sick.